So यहाँ से start करते हैं first one expressions Kc etc. So Kc expression was that NH3 concentration squared divided by divide by N2 and H2 cubed, right? Products over reactants, right? So Kc is products concentration divided by reactant concentration. So कौन सा वाला सही? It's going to be D, right? And remember, it's everything. It's they're going to be multiplied. The reactant concentrations will be multiplied. The product concentrations will be multiplied as well. Plus नहीं हो रहा, ठीक है? अच्छा, let's try and do this question. Okay, there's H2 and I2 in equilibrium with 2HI. ठीक है, just revision of what you know stuff. You know this stuff already, ठीक है? So I've got 2HI. तो क्या करते थे? You had initial moles. आवाज आ रही है सर को? है ना? Can you hear me? अच्छा, you had initial moles, and initial moles are 2 moles of hydrogen and 3 moles of iodine. तो इसके 2 moles है, and you've got 3 moles of iodine, and they were heated together. That is what the question states. So that means initially you don't have any HI. You don't have. There's nothing there. ठीक है? अच्छा, फिर they'll give you equilibrium moles. Like what happens at equilibrium, like after several days? Though it was sealed and allowed to reach equilibrium at a fixed container, the container had a fixed volume of 1 dm cube. When it had reached equilibrium, there were 2.4 moles of iodine. So equilibrium के ऊपर ना, you've got 2.4 moles of iodine. So you started off with 3 moles, now you've got 2.4 moles. तो बीच में 0.6 किधर गए? That means 0.6 moles have reacted. They're gone. So अगर 0.6 react करे, it's 1:1. So 0.6 of H2 must have reacted as well. And if 0.6 react with 0.6, तो आगे जाके double produce होंगे. That's going to be 1.2 getting produced on the other side. So this is all you have to figure out. Okay, how many moles are actually getting reacted or produced? So 3, you started off with 3, you're left with 2.4 at equilibrium. That means 0.6 are gone, 0.6 reacted, 1:1. So 0.6 of this would have reacted, and double the amount would be produced at the other side. So it's going to be 1.2. So your equilibrium moles will now be case के 2 थे and 0.6 have reacted. So you're left with 1.4 moles at equilibrium. Or इसके 0 थे and 1.2 got produced. So that now you've got 1.2 moles at equilibrium. And now he's asking you to figure out the value of Kc. Kc involves concentration, and so you divide everything by 1 dm cube. In this case, you don't actually have to divide by 1 dm cube because to find concentration, because when the numerator and denominator terms are equal, numerator may be 2 moles and denominator also has 2 moles, then the divided by part will automatically get cancelled out. So you don't have to, I mean, you can input moles directly into the question. You don't actually have to find concentration because वो एक extra calculation होगी that is not required because it's going to get cancelled out anyways. So what is Kc? Kc is, what is the expression? It's HI concentration squared, and it's going to be divided by H2 concentration and I2 concentration. तो क्या बना? It's 1.2 squared. Calculator किसी पास? 1.2 squared divided by 1.4 times 2.4. क्या है इसका आंसर हमारे पास? कह रहे सी है ना? अच्छा 0.42. तो ठीक है 0.42. एक से मैं इसको लीव कर लूँ. ये So 0.42 उसका आंसर था. ठीक है, we'll just do more questions similar to that. Can't get. Hold on a second. चल ठीक है, 0.429. So the answer was, for this one, the answer was C. Next one. Okay, similar questions. Remember, Kc and Kp, they only change with the temperature. I said next one is almost the same. Okay, so we'll just do this quickly. Okay, you've got H2 initial moles. The question reads that you had 0.2 moles of this, and you had 0.15 moles of iodine, and you had nothing, 0 moles of HI. Those are your initial moles. Or equilibrium moles, Joanna, that's what are your equilibrium moles? Equilibrium moles are, okay, in equilibrium, the mixture is found to contain 0.26 moles of HI. So you've got, all of a sudden, you've got 0.26 moles of this. So that clearly indicates that HI got produced. Okay, so you've got an extra, you've got lots of extra HI. So kitna extra HI? That's 0.26. 0.26 getting produced. Okay, you started off with 0, now you've got 0.26. 0.26 extra ho gaya. Now what you have to do is, okay, 2 produces when 1 reacts, right? So 0.26, 0.13 must have reacted. And 0.13 of this must have reacted as well. So this must have reacted and this must have reacted as well. So what are your equilibrium moles now? So out of 0.15, 0.13 are gone, so you're left with 0.02. Out of 0.2, 0.13 are gone, so you're left with 0.07. तो ये दिया हुआ था कि 0 थे and 0.26 got, I mean, you at the end you have 0.26, so that means 0.26 got produced. To produce 0.26, 0.13 of this and this must have reacted. 1:1:2 है ना. So out of 0.15, 0.13 are gone. Out of 0.2, 0.13 are gone. So ये आपके equilibrium moles हैं. So your expression is going to be C. It's going to be 0.26 squared divided by 0.02, 0.07. ठीक है, और so that's Kc, ठीक है, and let's do a few more questions, more difficult questions. ये तो उसी तरह के, if you look carefully, these two are kind of exactly the same reaction. क्योंकि दोनों में it's the same thing. It's X2Y in equilibrium with Y2 and X2. X2Y in equilibrium with X2 and Y2. They're just balanced differently. And they're written the other way around. Otherwise, the equilibrium is exactly the same. So which is why you're going to have a different expression for Kc for this one. It's going to be X2Y squared divided by X2 squared into Y2 power 1. और इसका जो expression है, that's what's the expression of this one? It's same Kc expression, products over concentrate. It's going to be X2 concentration, Y2 will be power half, coefficient becomes the power, और नीचे जो होगा that's going to be X2Y. और दोनों expressions में, one of the expression values, the first one, the answer is 2. ठीक है, so the answer is 2. What you can simply do is that's Kc1, and he's asking you to figure out Kc2. So all you have to do in this case is all you have to do is, okay, what is it? How do you convert this expression into this expression? The first thing is you would have to invert it. कि यहाँ पे X2Y नीचे है, so X2Y ऊपर है, so you put it the other way around. The other one is that you would have to underroot it. यहाँ पे everything is underrooted in the bottom expression. So the answer will be A. If I want to convert it, if I want to convert the first one into the second one, the difference between, or the relationship between the expressions is it's reciprocal, and then it's also underrooted. So 1/2 and then under root as well. So you're going to get this expression. So ये दोनों expressions में ना relationship थी, and that's why KC2 will be 1/2 under root. ये वाला clear example? Shan, clear as heap? Aiba, Abia, Anna, is this clear? अच्छा, अगला part कि ये खाली expression निकालना है, units, ठीक है, you're probably going to do that easily. अच्छा, एक और type का question था, which was that the KC will be given to you, ठीक है? So let's try it and do those questions. So in those questions, the KC value was already provided to you. So you've got this expression. इसको मैं ना A plus B is equal to X, C plus D कर लेते हैं. ठीक है, I'm not wasting time writing the whole thing. अच्छा, so I've got this equilibrium. ठीक है, D is water, C is this thing, ester. The KC value is already known, it's 4. So say 1 mole each of ethanoic acid and ethanol were mixed. So the initial moles are with you. It's 1 mole of this, 1 mole of this, and none of the products. And then it reaches equilibrium and no information is given. So you know the initial moles, it's 1 are mixed together, and so you don't know how many of these reacted. So I assume karoge, let's say X reacted, right? And it's 1:1. So X of this would be reacted as well. So plus minus X kar lete hain. Minus X means they're gone. Minus X of this would be gone. So X reacted, X of this will also react. It's 1:1. And X over here will get produced, and X over here will get produced. It's 1:1. So wahan pe plus X ho jayega. So the equilibrium moles will be, you started off with 1, but now X are gone. So it's 1 minus X. Iske moles ke honge 1 minus X. And you started off with 0. Now you've got X moles. So that's X, and this would be X. Now, the KC expression in this case will be product over concentration. So it's going to be X squared over 1 minus X squared. Kyunki wo bhi do dafa aa raha hai. 1 minus X, X into X. And the value they've told us is 4. So I need to solve for X now. He's asking me to figure out what is the number of moles of ethyl ethanoate. That's X, right? So I need to solve for X. So I would have to take the under root first. So if I take the under root, it's going to give me plus minus 2. Then I'm going to solve this expression twice. एक जो होगा ना वो solve करूंगा X over 1 minus X equal to 2. The other one will be X over 1 minus X, and that's equal to minus 2. So दोनों cases में, can anyone tell me what the value is for this? किसी ने solve किया? ये क्या आ रहा है? X is equal to, you're going to get 2 values for X. First one किसी ने किया? I'm going to explain this. So this is the second type of KC questions. The first one that we did, so I'll just spend more time on this. I mean, just A and B are these things, C and D, right? So you've got A and B reacting and they're producing C and D, and they told us that 1 mole each of A and B were mixed together. So I said 1 mole of this, 1 mole of this. These are my initial moles, the starting moles, right? And they did not give me any information about the equilibrium or how the equilibrium mixture looks like. They just told me that 1 mole of this, 1 mole of this are mixed together, and there's no C and D initially. 1 mole and 1 mole are mixed together, so some or a few moles must have reacted. Like, I don't know how much of ethanol is reacting. I don't know how much of ethanoic acid is reacting. So I'm just going to give it a value. I'm going to call it that X moles react. So X moles come out of 1. X moles are gone. So you're left with 1 minus X. Now, if X moles are reacting, it's 1:1. So X moles of B must have reacted as well. So it's going to be, so you start off with 1 mole and X moles of this must have reacted as well. So you're left with 1 minus X. So 1:1 है, तो वो मैंने अपनी तरफ से कह दिया कि if X moles react, X moles of this will also react. It's 1:1. And the products are also produced in 1:1. So if X moles react, X moles will get produced on the other side. So वहाँ पे X moles ज़्यादा हो जाएंगे. It's going to increase. And X moles of this will also get produced. Alicia, is that clear? Did you get this? So you're left with 1 minus X because out of 1, X are gone. यहाँ पे भी starting moles are 1 and out of 1, X are gone, 1 minus X. You had no moles of C. Now X moles got produced, so you're left with X, right? Or 0 moles था शुरू में and X got produced, so you're left with X. So these are your equilibrium moles. ठीक है, these ones. These are your equilibrium moles. And the expression for equilibrium will be its product concentration divided by reactant concentration. X into X divided by 1 minus X, 1 minus X. That basically becomes X squared over 1 minus X squared. And they already told me what the value is. That's 4. वो square मैंने खत्म कर दिया, तो that's plus minus 2. I said, did anyone solve this? There will be 2 expressions that need to be solved. Did anyone try this? किसी ने किया? Fractions में नहीं बता सकते. 0.67. I mean, they gave the answers in fractions, so 0.67 and what is 0.62 or 3? Minus ये पहला वाला 2 or 3 होगा, ठीक है? This one will give you X is equal to, this one will give you X is equal to 2 over 3 if you solve this. And दूसरा क्या था? It's the other one is giving you 2. Is it? Looks like 2. And here, this one, if you solve this, it's going to give you 2. Anyways, once you find the value of X, so remember, this question is the exact opposite. The Kc value is given, and in reverse, you have to find X, the equilibrium moles. So in this question, what is happening is you've got 2 values. Which one is the correct one? So the correct value is that your moles cannot be negative. You can't, I mean, negative moles don't make sense. Okay? If you've got a basket of apples, you're never going to have -2 apples. Okay? So moles, when you count atoms, you're never going to have negative moles. Okay? Negative moles don't make any sense. Okay? Some -2 apples or -2 dozen eggs, they don't make any sense. So anyways, so one of them is wrong. If you substitute one of them, that's 2. If you put 2 over here, so your equilibrium moles of A are going to come out to be -1 moles, which makes no sense whatsoever. So this one is giving us equilibrium moles in negative. First one, TK, if I put 2 over 3, so I'm going to get 1 over 3 moles over here, 1 over 3 moles over here, 2 over 3 over here, and 2 over 3 over here. So the answer is going to be B. It's going to be 2 over 3. So remember, in this case, when every time it's going to give you 2 values of X. One of them will give the moles in negative, and moles cannot be negative. Okay, remember that. Agla question kar lete hain. Let's try and solve this. In this case, again, you have to find the value of Kc. So if I just write down the equation quickly, 2NO2 in equilibrium with 2NO plus O2. Initial moles. What are the initial moles? 4 moles of nitrogen dioxide, this one, right? So right initially at the beginning, we're put into a container and heated to a constant. So there's nothing initially, there's no NO, there's no O2. Okay, those are your initial moles. At equilibrium, there are 0.8 moles of oxygen. So at equilibrium, you've got 0.8 moles of this thing. तो इसका क्या मतलब है? It means you started off with 0, but now you've got 0.8. That means 0.8 got produced. उसको मैं plus 0.8 लिख लेता हूँ. That means there's a reaction happening and plus 0.8 moles are getting produced. So if one gets produced, two of these will also get produced. So if 0.8 gets produced, there will be 1.6 moles of this also getting produced. 1:2 में produce होते हैं, ठीक है? And if 0.1 gets produced, 2 react on the other side. So 0.8 get produced, double the amount react on the other side. So there's going to be minus 1.6. तो मैं फिर से clear कर दूं. 0th है, at equilibrium you've got 0.8. So that indicates that 0.8 got produced. Or 0.8, if they got produced, 1:2 to 1.6 इसके भी produce होंगे. And if one got produced, 2 react. So 0.8 get produced, double the amount react. So 1.6 have reacted. So your equilibrium moles for this will be, okay, you started off with 4, 1.6 are gone, so you're left with 2.4. You started off with 0 and 1.6 extra got produced. So that means you're left with 1.6. So you found your equilibrium moles, 0.8, 1.6, 0.4. Concentration, निकाल लो के, ठीक है Abdullah, it's but the expression kya hoga? It's NO squared, this one 1.6 squared into 0.8 divided by 2.4, product over reactant. So it's going to be D. ठीक है. Achha, so what affects the value of equilibrium constant Kc? It's just temperature. Remember, only temperature changes the value of Kc. Achha, or इसी तरह questions. Which equilibrium in which all species are gases would have with no units? Achha, when you have no units, when the product terms and the reactant terms are equal and everything gets cancelled out, तो ये 2 के अंदर or 3 के अंदर, they're going to have no units. Why? Because reaction number 2, H2 and I2 and 2HI, right? So whenever you have product terms are 2 and the reactant terms are also 2 moles on both sides. So if you do products over reactants, everything gets cancelled out and they will have no units. It may be carbon monoxide plus steam. So carbon monoxide plus steam, and the other side is getting produced? It's carbon dioxide and H2O. So again, your product terms and the reactant terms are equal. They're the same number. So when you do products over reactants, everything gets cancelled out. अच्छा, ये वाला तो I think अभी किया था. अच्छा, we have to find the value of Kc for this reaction, X in equilibrium with 2Y. So he gave me the initial concentration of 0.5 mole per dm cube of X. So this is 0.5. When equilibrium has been reached, the concentration has fallen to 0.25. So this is your initial. And then he says that it falls off to 0.25 when at equilibrium. So what happened? You started off with 0.5, now you've got 0.25. That means 0.25 have reacted, right? So 0.25 have reacted. So 1 produces 2. So 0.25, if they react, they're going to produce double the amount on the other side. So वो पहले तो 0 था, but now if 0.25 have reacted, double the amount will be produced on the other side. Right? Is that clear? 1:2 है. So 0.25 react, double the amount on the other side will be produced, 2y. Clear? So equilibrium पे कितने हो गए? That's going to be, you start off with 0. So you'll be left with 0.5 at the end because 0.5 got produced. And then you write the expression for Kc, which is product 0.5 squared divided by 0.25, and ठीक है 1 आएगा. ठीक है, that's going to be 1. And it's going to be this one. Okay, what happens to the concentration of X? It falls from 0.5 to 0.25. आधी हो जाती है. What happens to the concentration of Y? It goes from 0 and then it becomes 0.5. So Y goes from 0 and eventually becomes 0.5. X goes from 0.5 and becomes 0.25. So this graph exactly matches with the final result है, ठीक है? Which we did calculate over here. तो ये मैं I लिख देता हूँ initial है. This is equilibrium, and that's not equilibrium. Sorry, the equilibrium is the end one. Beach wala jo hai, that's how much are getting reacted and how much are getting produced. As I've got another question. Iske liye saying 1 moles of silver ions and 1 mole of Fe2 plus are reacted. So 1 mole of this and 1 mole of this, and you have 0 moles of this initially. ठीक है, so that's your initial. ठीक है, उसको initial कर लेते हैं. Equilibrium जो है ना, that's going to be at equilibrium. It was found that 0.44 moles of silver ions are present. So at equilibrium you have 0.44 moles. So what does that mean? That 0.56 are gone. ठीक है, 0.56 moles are gone. Or 1:1 is 0.56. If they react, to 0.56 of this will also react. And 1:1, so 0.56 on the other side will get produced. Or 0.56 इसके भी produce होंगे 0.56. So what are your equilibrium moles? Once से start किया था 0.56 are gone, so this will be 0.44 moles. 0 से start किया था, now you've got 0.56 moles, and this is 0.56. So what is the final value of Kc? What is the expression for Kc? Product concentration divided by reactant concentration. So it's going to be 0.56 times, लेकिन इसमें एक चीज important है, वो ख्याल रखना है कि maybe somebody will point this out, and that is you're not going to use one of the 0.56. ठीक है, remember in the Kc expression you don't write solids, and their concentration is going to be taken as 1. So that would be taken as 1. Remember Kc expression, you don't put moles in the expression, you actually put concentration. The volume was given 1 dm cube, so that will pretty much give you the same values. So that, I mean, kind of pointless to divide by 1 dm cube. But for a solid, the term concentration does not apply. The particles are always tightly packed. So now it's dilute hona, now it's concentrated hona, so that is taken as 1. So what do we get now? Is it still 1.62? Or is it? It's going to be D. So okay. What changes the value of Kp? Just temperature. Sorry, thoda sa zyada intelligent question hai. What will change? Sorry, temperature. That's it. Basic question hi tha. What are the units in this case? It's going to be Kc will be y squared, z cubed, w, or x squared. So concentration को आप x ले लो, so it's going to be x to the power 5 and divided by x to the power 3, right? So you get x to the power squared. And what is concentration? It's mole per dm cube, so it's mole squared dm minus 6. As a next one, we ulta question aa gaya ki you've got the value of Kc is already given to you. So H2 and I2, and then they're in equilibrium with 2Hi. So initial moles that are given is that the number of moles of Hi in equilibrium with 2 moles of actually क्या हो सकता है? What is the number of moles of Hi? ठीक है. हाँ, moles ठीक है, mole square d minus 6. It's going to be B. Acha, H2 and I2. Acha, now this question is that I think it's already at equilibrium. Usne matlab, you don't have to find the equilibrium moles. They already gave it to you. उसने कहा कि इसके 2 moles है और iodine के you've got 0.3 moles and you've got, you don't know what the moles of HI are. So you don't have to do any math over here. The moles at equilibrium are already given and the Kc value is given. So Kc क्या होगा? It's going to be x squared over 2 times 0.3. And the value of Kc is also given, that's 60. तो क्या होगा? 2.3, that's 0.6, 60 into 0.6, 36. I think 6 आएगा. देख लेना x की वैल्यू 6 आ रही है कि नहीं आ रही. ठीक है, I think it's 6. 0.6 into 60, that's 36, I think. और फिर अंडर रूट. अच्छा, फिर है कि units of Kc again, that's x cubed into x divided by x squared, right? The concentration cubed, concentration divided by concentration squared. So this will give me what? It's going to give me x squared, right? It's going to be mole squared dm minus x again. ठीक है, तो b होगा. So बस इसका Kc इसका वो निकालना था, unit निकालना था. अच्छा, here's another one. जिसके अंदर you have to do the whole initial and final thing. So let's do that. N2 है और क्या 3H2 है in equilibrium with 2NH3. So initial, मतलब I लिख देते हैं. As initial moles. 1 mole of nitrogen, 3 moles of hydrogen, and 1.98 moles of ammonia. So 1 mole इसका, 3 moles इसके, and 1.98 moles of this are mixed in the container and sealed and under certain conditions, whatever the conditions. It was found that 1.64 moles of nitrogen were present at equilibrium. तो equilibrium पे क्या कहानी है कि 1.64 moles पड़े हुए, तो बाकियों के ढूंढो आप. तो क्या होगा इसमें कि you started off with 1, you got 1.64 now, so that means 0.64 extra produce हो गए. ये होगा I guess. फिर से वो पढ़ लेते हैं. 1.6, ठीक है. So 0.64 extra got produced. So if 1 gets produced, 3 of this will get produced. So इसका 3 times ज़्यादा produce हुआ होगा. That's going to be, what is 0.6? That's 1.92, right? तो क्वेश्चन कुछ गलत लग रहा है. एक सेकेंड. अच्छा, 1.92 इसका भी produce हो गया, right? 3 times more. Let me read. मैंने कुछ गलत नहीं किया. 1 mole, 3 moles, and 1.98 of this. 1.64 moles of nitrogen. हाँ, see, but values are kind of. Shouldn't it be with a negative sign? ज़्यादा हो रहा है ना? You started off with 1 mole of nitrogen. Now you've got 1.64 moles. तो इसका मतलब 0.64 extra produce हुए हैं. मतलब extra produce हुए हैं ना? Negative का मतलब है कम हुए हैं ना? यहाँ पे तो ज़्यादा हुए हैं. 1 थे ना, तो 0.64 और हो गए, 1.64 हो गए. Is that clear? उधर फिर negative होगा. The other side will be negative. They will react. That means the reaction, that basically means the reaction is happening in the backward direction. अच्छा, 0.64 अगर produce हुए 1:2, the other side, 1.28 must have reacted, right? तो वो कम हो गया. तो इसके moles कितने होंगे? That's going to be 4.92. क्योंकि you had 3 and 1.92 extra got produced. You had 1.98 and now it's minus 1.28. कम हो गया. So that's 0. I guess 7. 2 to 9, 7 ही होता है. So these are my equilibrium moles. So the answer will be product squared divided by reactant, and that's going to be A. अब्दुल्ला ये क्लियर हुआ है कि इज दिस क्लियर? ठीक है, जब ज्यादा हो रहे हैं तो मैं प्लस कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है। if one side is plus, the other one would be negative. It's you started off with 1, you got 1 point, so that means plus 0.64 extra got produced. अगर ये produce हुए extra, तो 1:3, 3 times more of this will be produced. And the other side, 1 gets produced, 2 of them will react, तो उधर कम हो जाएंगे, ठीक है। अच्छा, जल्दी से एक और इसी तरह का क्वेश्चन दोबारा से कर लेते हैं। It's N2 plus 3H2 and in equilibrium with 2 NH3s. ठीक है, this is exactly the same except you've got different moles. So initial is 2 moles of this, 6 moles of hydrogen and 2.4 moles of ammonia. That's initial. Equilibrium जो है ना, it was found that 2.32 moles of nitrogen were present. So 2.32, अब फिर से ज्यादा हो गए. So that means an extra 0.32 got produced. So if 1 got produced, 3 of these will get produced. So this will be an extra 0.96 will be produced. 3 times zyada, 1:3. And if one gets produced, 2 of these will react. So udhar minus 0.64 ho jayega. And you've got to find out, okay, what's 6.96 for this? You had 6 and you now have an extra 0.96, 6.96. You had 2.4, तो ये निकालो क्या बचता है? 1.76. So 1.76 squared divided by this cube divided by this power 1. So I guess that's A. ठीक है, चलो ठीक है, next class में करते हैं. Next class में hopefully we'll start with the A2 chapter as well. We'll do a couple of questions about KP and then we'll definitely start off with A2. ठीक है, ये पुराना ही है सारा कि just to familiarize yourself with KC and KP. ठीक है, just remember they only change with temperature. You have to figure out units. थोड़ा सा KP का कर लेंगे next class में. चलिए ठीक है everyone. ठीक है, अल्लाह हाफिज.